get back into it then. So you have purchased and it has been finished. The cart that you have uh, sort of halfway bargained from one of the local farmers has had ribbing added to it and a large covering. So you now have this covered wagon of a size large, small enough that the bloody mad dog, the pup, can still pull said cart. Um, it's enough that any of the group would be able to sit in it, but not so much that pretty much anyone would be able to lay down within the cart. Um, so there's not going to be able to be like attempts at long rests or any of that while driving a cart. But a couple people could probably take a short rest on the shifts if needed. Let me pull up my calendar and check your date. We just had shield meet. And you are departing now on the second day, because you had the first day to find and acquire the cart, and then some work needed to be done. So you are departing Elderthorn on the second day of Laius, which is the month of High Sun. And your penultimate destination is Armskirk,
I believe so.
followed by the Witchlight Marshlands.
Yes.
And then eventually Fellhold Refuge north of there, which is the reserve of information that the Iron Fang maintains. As an outpost, it's less susceptible to being used and abused too much by general populace. But the group of you decided that you needed some degree of information and research, so I believe you off in that direction potentially. And Tang has business up the north, that far north as well, near the Garden Steppe, which is, according to the information you obtained, near the Komatsi Lakes, which is north and west of Fellhold Refuge on the far side of the sands of Bleached Bone. Alright. So, getting underway for travel. Jump to you guys to my map. First leg of travel is up and through the Drucon Expanse, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. The
To
plan was
Armskirk.
to avoid the
Yeah.
Pinwood.
So we have 30 leagues. It's 10 hexes, so it's 5 days of travel. Now, let's call it 10 days of solid travel to get to Armskirk. So, for that journey, I would like each of you to roll me survival and perception checks. You can roll these at advantage, representing the fact that you have your full party's worth of eyes and ears out and stuff like that.
And this is over a series of days, right?
This is going to be over a series of days. This is determining if any things you do come across during this time, as well as, if so, what things.
So, if it's over a series of days, I'm going to be using my starry form.
I'm going to rule that this thing that lasts for 10 minutes is not good for navigating for the entire day.
Okay.
You do have an advantage thanks to your companions being present. Yeah, look at that. You're fine. I rolled a 17 anyway. Okay. Sounds good. Done in... Well, the 11. Done, and roll me a d12, please.
Yes.
I'm going to move your little pip all the way to Armskirk for the time being, since that's where you're going to be ending up. And we can slide back to the main page. Yep, there you go. Took a moment to pop up on my screen. Okay. First few days of travel are relatively comfortable. You're still all sort of basking in the fun that was the festival for Shieldmeat. Recalling different things, sharing stories and thoughts on this. On the evening of the roughly 7th day, about maybe an hour before sundown, the sky has just begun to darken as the sun is approaching the apex of the Cloudspine Mountains to your rear. So you know it's going to be getting dark soon, but not exactly yet. During this time, the group of you spot off in the distance, a little bit off the trail that you're intending to take, but still not terribly so. A trail of smoke. It's very faint. It's not like a billowing thing. And there's a few other ones dotted around it. That are just slowly wafting up from the plains of the Drucon Expanse ahead of you. As you continue to ride for a little while, the source of this smoke comes into more true being. Looks like a small camp. I say small, large compared to the group of you. About maybe 10 tents, clearly been made to set up and take down by some type of nomadic group, are present in their remains of their burnt forms. Things have been smashed, burned, and you see corpses dotted about the space.
Looks like a raid.
Yeah,
Looks like it
I
might
look-
have been. Yeah.
are there any more of those arrows we found at the first raid? If I recall correctly, when we found the people that got killed earlier on the way back to Elderthorn, there were some weird arrows.
Lens space for arrows.
Yeah.
You need to go into the space
Yeah, okay.
properly and take a look around, but you could.
Yeah. Dannon is curious to see if it's the handwork of the death deniers. So he's gonna go and investigate.
Certainly. Make me an investigation check.
Nice.
Quality. Take a glance around Dunnan. You don't see any immediate indications that it could be the Death Deniers or that it couldn't be at first glance. What you do recognize once you sort of get into the proper area here, as the sun is still slowly starting to fade, you're now in this sort of twilight space. The corpses are gnolls. This was a gnoll encampment that has been seemingly subjected to some degree, some type of raid.
Okay. But I mean, I think it's always that the wounds are like slashing and piercing, not like claw. marks?
No, this was not by an animal, as far as
Okay.
you can tell. There are wounds that you would expect to see with weapons.
Could it be? And I turn to Siegfried. Maybe some, I don't know, hunting down party from Elderthorn, taking revenge on those gnolls for raiding Elderthorn, for trying to raid.
It's possible. I mean, Storm Surge said
Or
that they
maybe,
were able to repel them, so maybe they followed them in retreat.
and we are close to Armskirk now, right?
No, you're about 7 days out from Elderthorn of
Okay.
10. You're closer to Armskirk,
Mm.
but you're still a good 6 leagues.
Is there any evidence I can find that the
There's-
Blackburn Watch was here? Like maybe any
make an
like
investigation
spears?
check as well. You good number of days out from
Okay.
Blackburn's.
I'm going to enhance
keep.
ability myself
Sure.
and give myself Fox's Cunning. And an investigation.
Yes. Hey, you do a good solid once over. Some of the wounds that these gnolls have sustained, while the initial glance does not reveal a weapon of some sort, some of them have broken off arrowheads. That the shaft has sort of been obscured by the fur. It's tough fur that these gnolls have. And burrowed in, you sort of take out some of the pronged and barbed arrowheads. These are not Blackburn arrows.
I show them to Dunnan. I don't think it was the Watch who did this.
Would have been a long stretch. I mean, we are out like 7 days from Elderthorn. I don't think they would pursue that far off.
I don't think so either. I don't think the Watch has jurisdiction this far out.
Mm.
Well, I mean, less
And-
gnolls around is probably better for Elderthorn, but I
That
mean,
is
this
true.
is the second camp we found destroyed out here. I think it's getting more and more dangerous to travel.
Mm. Well, at least it didn't hit the wrong people. I don't care if some gnolls get ambushed. They had it coming for themselves.
I'm just worried these gnolls may be the Goliaths to us. I'm not sure if these are the same group as the slaves we found. If the Goliaths follow them south, I don't think we're prepared to defend ourselves.
I heard that
Make me
gnolls
a history
reproduce
check.
like crazy.
A history check?
Yes. You have advantage. It's actually an intelligence check
Yeah.
also.
I also have my keen mind, but I think it's been more than a month since we saw the Gnoll slaves. So I don't think it helps me right now.
You also know, just as I would say, it's general knowledge that there are bands of gnolls that wander the Drukhon Expanse as part of their nomadic territory. Gnolls being in this space is not uncommon. It's not like an everyday thing, but like it is a known danger of traveling through the wilderness. It is why one of the reasons why more things are shipped than done overland.
Okay.
Other than just straight cost.
I mean, it could also have been our orc friends. I mean, they are also known to wander around. Maybe they were on the move and just came across those gnolls.
That's true. I mean, I've heard stories of Gnoll attacking caravans since I was a child, but not so much recently. Can I take a look around? Does it look like valuables have been taken from the Gnolls, or were they just slaughtered?
Make me a perception check.
Okay.
Okay. 25. Alright, I need, in addition to that, then, I also need you to make a religion check for me.
Okay. A religion.
And a 20. Alright. You spend another half hour sort of combing through this space. The sun does set. You are now in effectively sort of semi-darkness. The sky is still light, but you do have a way to solve that problem for yourself.
Yep. I'll start casting dark vision on myself at some point.
As you sort of get in this headspace of sort of uncovering things, and before you know it, this time passes and it's difficult to see before you enhance your vision. You keep going and you're just in the zone for a good few minutes here. As you sort of finally take a step back and sort of look at the place as a whole, you've had experience looking at things in a bird's eye view previously through the use of your wild companion. When you conjured a small owl that surveilled the area like Teng. Without even doing so, you sort of take a step back and thrust your imagination dozens of feet up into the air. And you realize that some of these structures, the remains of these structures, have been shifted slightly and rearranged prior to their incineration. You carefully reconstruct where the bodies were at the time. You feel remarkably confident that the space in which you are currently standing is some type of carefully arranged ritual killing. The wounds that were sustained by this raid seemed superficial, enough to subdue but not kill. Then there were killing blows in stomachs, which could be misconstrued as battle wounds, but not these. The few things that these gnolls might have considered as valuable, steel tools, cookpots, nicely made bows, bits of armor, have not been taken. So you rule out the fact that it might have been another warband from another tribe. As you are reconstructing this, one of the previous groups with whom you've interacted in this general vicinity comes to mind. The cultists of Evil Pest. The arrangement of the structures and the corpses here have been set up in the way of two partially overlapping circles. And as you sort of come to this realization, a shiver runs down your spine.
We still don't see any tracks of the party that may have done the killing.
With your perception check, you do see a large number of tracks throughout the space, but it's a little bit too busy and too hard packed to sort of disentangle what from what.
Because this is a pretty busy thoroughfare, I imagine. I turned to Dunn.
You're sure that some of these tracks must belong to the assailants, but which are which, you're not sure.
Yeah. I turned to Dunn and this wasn't a raid, it was a blood sacrifice to Evilcast. And I show him the symbol that the corpses are arranged in two rings. There are no treasures or tools taken. It looks like these people are gathered here and then killed with a knife to the stomach.
You mean that big crab monster we fought in that mine? That avatar?
And the twins.
The same people?
The twins, Mayor Tadell. Same cult.
Oh crap, not those again.
we should probably investigate, but I mean, you can't tell. There's so many tracks here. I can't tell who's who.
And Talman will whistle the pup and see. Come, boy. Sniff around.
You hear the
If-
cart sort of lumber and shift because it's still tethered. to
Wait! Before
Yeah.
let's detach him. Let's detach him.
I guess we would have detached it before. Come, boy. Take a whiff.
Make a
See if
survival
you
check
can find-
for the pup for me.
I guess if it's using sand, it's advantage. Yeah.
No.
So we roll twice. There you go.
Nice. Okay. Taking a good sort of whiff through the space, the pup sort of paces around in circles for a few minutes, trying to get a trail. Eventually, the nose sort of draws the pup back towards the where the wagon is, roughly. A few hundred paces off, a little bit north of that trail, and then turns to the east, vaguely, and then does one of the pointers, just lifts one leg, points its tail out to the back, and noses in one solid direction. You get the sense, whatever the scent is, it goes that way.
Good boy.
You think we should?
I mean,
follow?
yes. I mean, we had order, but I think Storm Search would want us to investigate those cultists.
I think so too.
But what about the cart? Do we leave it there or bring it with us?
Well, I think Aeolus and Heli can look after it for now. I think.
Yeah. All right.
Right, Spencer?
You have no idea how far this trail goes.
Okay.
You
So
just know
we
it,
should bring it.
You just know it goes in one direction.
I mean, it's getting dark. There is no point in following it now through the darkness, I guess.
Okay, so why don't we make camp and then go down that
Yeah.
direction in the morning?
But we should get away. I'm not very, happy with staying here around some no corpses. I mean, they are dead, but who knows what those cultists did to them. I don't want some undead gnolls fighting us in the night.
Before we go to bed, can I take a look at the stars in the direction the pup is pointing at, so I can at least just memorize the bearing?
Sure.
Because I got cartographer's tools in Elderthorn before we left.
No, all right. So you take down the bearing according to your star charts.
Yeah.
And you contrast that to your sense of direction of north. You have a pretty good idea. Make me. Oh, there we go. You already rolled. Perfect. Based on your map, your charts, and your sense of direction, you are fairly positive that the trail the pup is pointing towards, should nothing else be upon it prior to the arrival, is headed towards the Sanguine River and Armskirk.
At the very least, they seem to be heading in the same direction. They're heading towards Armskirk. Unless they change.
Or maybe they are stationed at Armskirk and just needed some corpses. Nobody would be missing.
It's true. I mean... Yeah. Also, the Sanguine River is a good place to lose people that are that may be following you.
Yeah.
Once you get there, it's a common tactic to follow the river up or down and then cross it to lose people. But I guess we'll deal with that in the morning.
Right.
There is one more thing I'd like to try before we go to bed.
No.
If there's still like parts of the area that's not like burnt out or anything like that, I would like to use the blessing of the trials.
Okay.
I would, just speak with plants in the area if there's any grass or anything like that.
Ample,
Just
yeah.
talk to the grass again.
Yeah. You find a particularly, I say tall. It's like 3 feet in height, where everything else is like 1 to 2 feet. And this little clump of grass, and as you implore the kami to assist you, you see the grass sort of shiver and shudder for a moment. What do you ask the grass?
I say, hello, Mr. Grass. It seems like there was.
Hi. You hear the choruses of all
Oh.
of the grass in this little clump.
I meant Messrs. Grasses. Sorry, I forgot you're a collective. I just wanted to ask. It seems there were a couple fires around here recently. Do you know how many sunrises, sunsets this was?
Capel. Yes, some more than one, maybe more. Not a lot, not too many. Some.
We know there's a large group over there, but we believe there was another large group. Did you notice them?
Big group,
Of
small
people,
group,
what?
big group, small group. You don't really
Okay.
get an answer past that. Yeah. Continue.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I mostly just wanted to get the sundown question. So this happened a couple days ago, I believe.
Yeah. After last rain. Last rain. Yes. Just after rain. Yes. Last rain.
Okay.
Yes.
Did we notice when it last rained?
In this
Like
space,
when
no.
we were traveling? No. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. I asked They placed the bodies of these people in a circle. Did they do anything else before they left?
Are you asking the grass?
Yeah.
Okay. I was confused
Yeah.
for a moment. I thought that was a clarifying question for me.
No.
Burn the things. Lots of heat, lots of smoke. Unpleasant. Coughs.
All right. Well, we're gonna camp here tonight. We'll make sure to put the fire downwind from you, and we're placed without grasses. But thank you, Mr. Grasses. I hope you have a good night.
Yes. Night. No sun. Night.
I turned to Dunn, and the grasses say that this happened maybe a day or two ago, after it rained.
The grass.
Yeah, you get a sense
That's
at
rather
least
fresh.
longer than a day ago.
Yeah.
Probably not greater than a 10-day ago, you would
Yeah.
imagine. Both based on the grasses and the fact that some things were still smoldering.
So, and the fact that it was smoldering, it must have happened after the rain.
It's not rained since.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
we're heading in that direction anyway, right? So
Yeah.
maybe we come across another encampment or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
Nobody can hide all that traces. They must have left something somewhere along the way.
All right. Group you rest. You recuperate. And begin the next day following this trail. I would like a survival check for the pup, please.
Pup. Just wisdom, right?
Yes. He has advantage though, so 18 because it has to do with scent. So and he's finding a path, but also following a scent. So I don't think it's perception, but all right. Come on, watch together. There we go. Next day passes, and some leagues fall away under, the pup's foot, your wagon wheels. And Presently, you are finding another comfortable camp. By your reckoning, you should arrive at Armskirk sometime in the evening tomorrow. The pup has been diligently following the trail and has not indicated to either of you that it has lost the scent.
Mm-hmm.
So they slaughtered a bunch of gnolls, put them in a ritual circle, and then just walked back to the city?
I don't think they just walked back. They had some kind of agenda with those gnolls, and they probably accomplished something. We just don't know what. And I mean, we are talking about the same people that just murdered an innocent baby, so
Yeah.
they don't shy away from killing some gnolls. They don't care.
You think they were trying to bring something through again?
I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, we failed their plans last time, but who knows? Maybe they now have some bigger plans.
I guess the only way through is forward.
Aye.
Alright. The next day dawns and brings more slow and plodding travel. I would like a D4 roll from you, Siegfried. You get through a good portion of the day. About mid-afternoon, the darkening clouds that have been threatening to most of the morning have finally break and deposit their payloads upon you. The covering of the cart is much welcome, as the drenching downpour cuts your visibility significantly to not more than a few hundred feet in any direction, and the water leaves the poor pup that is pulling the cart quite soaked. Presently, the very wet group of you are rolling onto the streets of Armskirk. You can hear the wheels of the wagon underfoot change from dirt to the cobble of the streets here. You gaze out the front and you see the majestic, massive tree that makes up the main square of Armskirk, upon which a number of shops are set, along with the Order of the Iron Fang Monastery. The evening is yours. To where are you going in Armskirk?
Where was the place we stayed last time we were here?
The place
that
you
dwarf.
stayed previously was the River's Edge Tavern. It is slightly catty corner. Let me shift the group view to a map.
And also, do we recall if they had stables? Or like a place to store like carts? Otherwise, we might need to find that as well.
I think we bought
Yeah.
some horses in Armskirk last time.
Yeah.
So, that should bring you to the Armskirk map, correct?
Yep.
All right,
Yes.
wonderful. So, a delta, D, that is the River's Edge Tavern. Notable on this map, keep in mind, north is to the right. It's reoriented. It's on the southern bank of the Sanguine River.
Mhm.
So the group of you came in from the north bank and crossed the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, so D is the River's Edge Tavern. A is the Order of the Iron Fang Monastery. H is the Merchant's Guild, where you previously purchased a few magical items, although nothing quite to hold a candle to Kelpip's work. that you found. And C is the bough market. B is that massive grandfather tree.
As we're walking through the walls, does it seem like Armskirk was attacked recently, like Elderthorn was?
Give me a perception check. With disadvantage, because of the downpour.
Okay.
Taking a good glance around, it does not seem to be. At least
Okay.
you don't immediately see any signs of the such. Armskirk is also a walled city.
Do they have stone walls, or is it a palisade?
These are stone walls, especially
Okay.
on the bank here. They are very clearly, at least, on the river-facing side, made to help reinforce the bank and prevent parts of the city from sliding in during heavy floods. And to the other side, they're clearly just defensive walls, but does not appear to have been any significant raid. Armskirk is quite a bit bigger than Elderthorn.
Yeah, Elderthorn would probably be an easier target
Yeah.
for a raid.
And you know that the Tautha of Armskirk, if let me switch you guys back to the other map. Here we are. You know that the Tautha of Armskirk extends a good number of leagues in every direction. So, whilst the city itself has walls, people from many leagues around call Armskirk their own Tautha, and are part of the agrarian society that supports the city-state. So, it's fairly possible that the last probably about a day, you've been traveling through and about some parts of some farms and outer reaches and past a mill or two, maybe in the midst of the rain, but
Yeah.
If you basically put like a 2 hex radius on the city, you can think of that as the greater range of influence that Armskirk has. It's a lot of area.
Well, I guess all we can do right now is find an inn. Hopefully the one we stayed at last time will welcome us back.
Do we have any particular business here in Armskirk?
I mean, Aeolus wanted to see if we can maybe sell the cart, because it's going to be harder to take it up there. But I also think he may have wanted to talk to the Iron Fang.
Maybe they have some other contracts.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate
also,
Aeolus isn't here.
Yeah. Also, I mean, could use the opportunity to get some information. I don't know. Armskirk does have a library that I would like to take a look at, but again, I'm not the researcher in the party.
Yeah. Armskirk has a small library. By comparison, it's not the Order of the Iron Fang library.
Yeah.
But they do. It is, I believe it's, so it is, to the west of the entrance that you had walked in, right along the river.
I also wanted to see if I could maybe get some information on the Witchlight marshlands. Telpip told me something strange when we left Elderthorn, and I think it's going to cause us some trouble up ahead. He said that magic is acting strange, and especially in the area in the Witchlight marshlands. That sometimes his magic items didn't work properly, or the spells he used. You remember the dragon we fought in the jungle?
Oh, yes.
It kind of sounds like that.
That chimera, you mean?
Yes, the Chimera.
That was some tough beast.
It was, and we just had to deal with it in its lair. If that affects the size of a marshland, I mean, it's gonna be a little tough. And it's not like we can go around it. We have to go through either the desert or the marshlands. So I think I need to find some more information, or maybe even a map at the very least.
All right. Well, let's see what you can dig up in a day, and then we should probably continue.
Yeah.
It is evening at this point. The sun has set somewhere behind the cloud cover, but it is now dark and downpouring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we take a rest.
Okay.
Or I mean, well, we go to the inn. I assume that we stayed at last time.
The river's
The one
edge.
at the river's edge, and also see if we can park our cart there without having to go to like a livery place.
One moment. Let me. Armskirk. You step through the welcoming wooden doors of the River's Edge Tavern and Inn, and you are immersed in the cozy and inviting atmosphere. The rustic charm and polished wooden beams that crisscross over the ceiling are welcoming. The large stone fireplace that takes up a good quarter of the opposite wall is happily crackling, despite the summer helps to dry out the bones a bit. There's some plush armchairs that are currently overstuffed with individuals that are currently calling the inn their home for the evening. The bar is currently stretched along one side and is occupied by the handlebarred mustached dwarf, whom you recognize as the owner and operator of the River's Edge. It is easy enough to procure rooms. Mark off 5 silver for each of you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm marking off 20 silver from the 15 silver from the remainder of the party.
Can I, with the permission of the barman, can I busk a little bit?
Make me a persuasion check. DC 12.
Okay. I did not make it, so no. Let me see if I have wheel or woe today.
About that stuff today. Just get warm and enjoy it.
I'm gonna wheel myself. So it's a 13. So no, I didn't get it.
Yeah, no, 13's good. DC was 12.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 15. Never mind.
I said DC 12. Yeah, you're good. So, as long as you don't bother people, it's fine.
Yeah.
Stop.
I will, and I'm not gonna sing about like anything to do with the Bloody Mad Dogs or adventures. I'm just gonna do just some like standard like rainy day music type stuff, like music you want by like warming by the fire at the end of the day, something relaxing. But more so, I want to see if I can attract a crowd to maybe get some information. But we'll see how the performance check goes.
I go ahead and make said performance check.
And for this, I will enhance ability myself again.
Mm-hmm. Alright. People are appreciative. It's not like you're intentionally trying to draw a large crowd of onlookers. You're just filling the space. You do get about 10 silver, some of which is in copper, but sort of placed in whatever item you have out if people would like to leave you tips. To which Grimbolt does come around about 30 minutes into you doing this and say, Tavern shattered, and takes 2 of your silver.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I was gonna give him some anyways. Does anyone stop to listen for an extended period of time, or are they just avoiding me?
They do. A gnomish woman stops and is quite comfortably enjoying everything and smiling along and watching you as she watches you perform.
Oh, after in like a lull in the song, or when I finish, I'll be like, hello, always a pleasure to meet a captive audience. My name is Siegfried. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. It's very good work. I've not heard that piece before. It reminds me of something that I grew up knowing. So it was pleasant, although it wasn't quite exact. I'm not a performer myself, though. Thank you so much. She places like 3 silver in your thing.
Oh, yeah. I thank you for the money. I appreciate it truly, uh, me and my partners we're travelers, and I assume you're on a journey as well.
Oh, yes. Visiting some family here in town. I come from a bit ways away, so it's exciting to be in a big space like this. It's very wet.
Are you from overseas?
Not terribly far. No.
Oh, it's all right. Um, well, I was wondering. Me and my comrades we're headed north after this. Our path is most likely going to take us through the Witchlight marshlands, and I was hoping to maybe get some information on that. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that area?
You see a sort of shorter and stout man. Initially, you think he might be a dwarf. Might be just be a shorter human. Sort of chimes in. You're going up to the marshlands? You don't want to be there. Trust me. The woman looks sort of taken aback for a moment at the loud incursion into the conversation. I'm not familiar with it myself. What's and her curiosity gets the better of her. Your insight's decent enough, you can tell. What's in the witchlights? Oh, all manner of evil beasts and creatures. They say the landscape changes on you. You think you're going one direction. You keep going straight. And then all of a sudden you turned around. You keep circling back to the same bridges and landmarks and rocks that you've seen previously.
I heard a rumor that
The Marshfoots. They don't
Marshfoot.
like you. They don't like you in there.
Has anyone seen a Marshfoot, or
Hey, you see the Marshfoots, they come in town every now and then. But they're allowed here, but you're not allowed there. Any of you big folk, especially big-ish folk like you, you're not welcome in the marshlands. He sort of takes a swig of whatever looks like some type of wine that he's drinking. They were subjugated in years past and retreated to the witchlights to protect themselves from the big folk who couldn't walk in the marshes without sinking into them. All manner of wee folk.
well, it sounds like a good strategy. I also heard a rumor that magic doesn't work normally in the marshlands. Do you have any experience with that?
I look like experienced using magics.
Well, maybe you have a comrade or a partner that maybe mentioned it.
No. And any friend of mine is gonna be wise enough not to be wandering into those stupid mists for no reason.
Do you know anyone who's been stupid enough to wander there recently?
None that come back.
Which was the last one that didn't come back? ODMC?
ODMC, they do all the shipping by boat.
Hmm.
Overland's too expensive.
That makes sense. Well, looks like I have to do some research tomorrow, but thank you for the company. I buy them both around.
Check with them hunters across the
Uh,
square.
I will do that.
If
Thank you
anyone's
for
stupid enough to go into the marshes, be them.
and us apparently. Yeah. Siegfried will buy them a round or two and then play some more music, and I'll be like, well, uh, we'll be in town for another day. If you need anything from me, you know where to find us. Thank you for the conversation.
Oh, no, it's very fascinating. Thank you.
And I don't think I got your name, ma'am.
Kimmy.
Kimi. Well, if you're ever in Elderthorn, feel free to look us up.
Thank you. Not been an elder for ever. Sounds fun.
Yeah. It's a little bit less metropolitan than Armskirk, but it's my home and I love it. Anyways, good night.
So he listens to a little bit more of what you're doing, and then engages in conversation with some of the other patrons as well. Dunnan, you doing anything over the course of the evening?
Yes, while Secret would have been talking to these people, Dunnan would have looked around. Are there like any, I don't know, more rough-looking guys like soldiers or guards or?
Make an insight check.
Okay.
Yeah, and just sort of size up people throughout the tavern. Pretty good. The as you are sort of working on this, sort of gazing around, trying to figure out who's who and who's what. One person catches your attention. A halfling gentleman. Who very short cropped hair. A tattoo along one of his shoulders of sort of really intricate lunar patterns. Very like Art Nouveau styling. And he does have, based on the scabbard, a fairly average looking utilitarian short sword along the back of his belt. And a small band on his wrist, which you recognize as you have a shield that is similarly obfuscated while traveling. And that's what really gives it away to you, is the presence of this sort of wrist shield, as opposed to just an individual who carries a sword for utility purpose. This individual carrying a sword and a shield sort of gives off a different vibe to you.
All right. Are they sitting at the table or at the bar?
They're sitting at the bar at the moment.
I would. Is there a seat next taken, or is there free?
Yeah.
I would just get close. And from my point of view, do I see the tattoo? Is it obvious?
You do. They have a vest on, so they're sort of showing off
then I would...
their biceps and their shoulders and their tattoo.
They
are remarkably well muscled.
Okay, then I would approach them and say, "That's a very nice tattoo you have there. You mind asking me who did this?"
Thanks, friend. Do you always start conversations with personal information like that?
Why not? I mean, you're showing it off, right? Or am I intruding?
That's fine. No. Got it done at sea. With my sister and I.
Let me guess. A goblin guy?
No.
No?
Human individual. They were good. You know a goblin that does tattooing?
It was a goblin, right? That a friend of Siegfried's?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a
Or am
goblin.
I? All right. Okay. Okay. Well, I met the individual
Jeffrey.
at Urkrit too. Yeah. A fellow named Jeffrey. He was kind of. I wished to do a tattoo, but he was really wasted. So I kind of said, when you're sober, but the problem is with those, I don't know, pirates. I just say it like it is. They are rarely ever sober. So getting a tattoo from him, kind of hard. So I was just asking you if you have any recommendations. But it seems like you all
Sorry, I don't.
also got it at sea.
I'm not sure if the where you're headed, friend, but you could
Oh,
look
well,
up the individual that I had my work done by. The very set of the hold.
that would be appreciated. Where you come from? I'm sorry. My name is Dan and Firebeard. We come from me and my companions were known as the Bloody Mad Dogs, and we come from Elderson. Just coming through Armskirk and then heading off to the Witchlight Marshlands. And you?
Pleased to meet you. My name's Liam. So that
Yeah.
offers to shake your hand.
Give him a firm handshake with the hand on the not the wrist, the forearm, like soldiers do.
Okay. That sounds like a bit of an adventure. Headed up that way.
Yes. Did you mention where he comes from? Are you from Armskirk?
No, not originally. Sister and I, from the friggin' hold. Spent some time here and there, traveling about. Have you been here in Armskirk before?
Yeah, just once.
Can you tell me why the herbalism shop is closed? I was hoping to pick up some supplies.
I'm sorry, friend. I just arrived here today. Was it opened last time? Can I remember?
Make a history check.
Perfect. Sorry, friend. I'm not really interested in herbs and stuff, so I can't remember if it was opened last time.
Okay.
Is there any notice up front why it's closed?
No, it just is closed until I guess the owner returns. Guess he or she is out and about. Maybe getting something. I don't know. I've been in town for a couple days and hasn't reopened. So.
Have you asked the barkeep? Usually, the Grimbold knows his gossip.
Grimbold wants me to pay for gossip.
That much is true. That cheapsake. Well, I can ask around. I mean, we staying for tomorrow, until tomorrow. And just one other question. You said you've been staying for a couple of days. Did you travel probably through the Trucon Expanse?
No.
While coming here?
No, came in by ship.
Alright. We have been attacked by some gnolls on the way, and
Gnolls? That's...
Yeah, they're getting
nasty.
getting very aggressive lately. And Eldorfon experienced a raid not just long ago from some gnolls, and we're just curious if they're just getting very ambitious, those gnolls. You know what I mean? Did you hear anything about Armskirk getting hit by some gnolls recently?
Not that I've heard. But like I said, I'm not from here, so.
All right. Mine usually word travels around if the town gets attacked by some gnolls. But if you don't know anything, have been
Yeah,
staying
but
for a
if-
couple of days.
It's possible they didn't. I haven't heard word about
Yeah.
it, but
All right.
I imagine that's a bit of gossip you'd gossip with an insider to the town, or an outsider.
Well, Liam, it was nice to talk to you, and I'll order whatever he had. Another one.
For him or for yourself?
Both.
Alright, so you order another round of this type of very pale ale. It's quite hoppy. As you take a sip and foam coats your mustache. Thank you, friend.
Okay, better. No worries, Liam.
If you do hear what's going on, with the apothecary, I'd much appreciate it.
I mean, you piqued my interest. I might poke around tomorrow. My friend is going to the library, and I have not a lot to do, so you piqued my interest. Maybe I'll try and ask around. You staying here?
I am.
All right. If I find anything out, I will tell you tomorrow. All right.
Thank you very much.
No worries, Liam. Enjoy your drink. Have a good night. And with that, I'll join Siegfried.
Okay.
And I'll tell him that the apothecary is closed and nobody knows, or at least the individual I talked to didn't know what happened.
When he says
And maybe
when Dunnan says apothecary, Siegfried will kind of his eyes widen a little bit, but then he kind of calms himself down and he sort of whispers to Dunnan, Mayor Tadell was the apothecary in Elderthorn.
Mayor Tadell was not the apothecary.
Oh, she wasn't? I thought she... Oh, but the doctor was, right? The doctor that got killed.
the one that got
their
decomposed.
skull,
Or on the...
Yeah, their skull, yeah. I mean...
Make me a history check.
Yeah.
Remember the name.
Something with B.
I'm gonna wheel myself.
Okay.
It's 14.
Dr. Frowen T-Dance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dr.
T-Dance.
Frowen T-Dance was involved with the cult.
Maybe we should take a look tomorrow into the house of the herbalist.
I think so.
Or maybe right now in the cover of darkness.
I don't know, Dunnan. The two of us are not stealthy. You're clanking
And
armor.
we probably have a issue getting into the house.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to get in trouble with the Armscard guard. You know, I'm not exactly a burglar, Dunnan.
Well, let's gather some information tomorrow, and maybe we'll find something out.
Sure.
Alright.
Well, it's weird. There's a lot of coincidences.
I know. I'll also tell Dunnan I didn't find anything much about the marshlands except that there might be small folk living there. According to one of the people I talked to, they, at one point in history, the larger folk tried to subjugate them and they retreated into the marshlands because that's the most protected area for them. So we might not be alone when we're traveling through there.
Very sure we are not. No.
Well,
let's hit the bunk. I'm tired from all that traveling.
yeah, let's see what we can find out tomorrow.
Alright. So not doing a midnight caper into the apothecary shop.
No. Maybe if Aeolus
would be tempted
was here.
to, but I think we are missing some expertise in
You're fine,
breaking.
right? Walk around in plate armor.
The only thing I can contribute is pass without a trace. That's it. And maybe some animal shapes.
Pass without trace was a real big contribution. Let's be fair.
Yeah, and I mean, druids are one of the best.
Yeah, the infiltrators.
Infiltrators, yeah.
Yeah, the issue is you can't see.
Yeah. All the animals I think that can see in the dark are quite big.
But wouldn't you be able to
a
cast
rat.
dark vision on
A
yourself
rat
and
too,
then?
yeah.
And
Also,
then
I think if I
if
if I technically dark vision myself, it still applies when I'm an animal.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
all.
Alright, so you strategize and theorize and decide to go to sleep instead.
Mm,
Yes, I believe
Okay.
so.
mm.
You can both long rest yourselves. Presently, the next morning arrives, and the day is yours.
So, Dunnan, do you want to divide and conquer this thing, or do you want to stick together?
What's your plan for today? Hitting up the library to find anything out about Witchland? Witchlight?
Yep, that was my plan. Maybe even get a map if I could.
Mm. You know what? I'm gonna join you and maybe just help you research for the right books for 1 to 2 hours and see if anything comes up for you. And if you find the right books, I'm gonna bounce because I'm not very, let's call it how it is, smart. So I'm gonna hit up some, I don't know, cards and try to find anything out about the herbalist.
All right, sounds good. And the library they're talking about is the one we went to last time, I believe, correct?
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
So it's nestled on the edge of the village. A couple trees, and it overlooks the Sanguine River. Building is small, but made of sturdy stone, and there's arched windows and the slate roof. The entrance is marked by the wooden sign with an image of an open book. Inside, it is dimly lit, and the shelves of with shelves upon shelves of books lining the walls. The air is quite thick with the scent of old paper and ink, and the sounds of rustling pages fill the room every few seconds as someone somewhere turns a page. As you enter, a kindly old gnome gentleman with this sort of tuft of white hair sort of straight up in the center of his head, and then it looks like he's balding on other sections of his hair, and then the lower half of his hair around the back is also present. And it's this very incredibly curly white hair, and it's just sort of got this volume to it without trying. It has this springy sort of bounce as it extends a few inches from the side of his head straight out, as opposed to falling down. Hello, I'm Master Glimmerpocket. As he opens a warm smile to you. What can I help you find today?
Hello, Master Glimmerpocket. My name is Siegfried, and this is my comrade Dunnan.
My
We're-
pleasure.
We're endeavoring to make a trek north through the Wishlight marshlands, and we just wanted to see if you had any information, maybe even some maps of the area.
Maps I cannot assist you with, but I do have some poems about the region. Follow me.
And there was also a second matter, more of an inquiry. Do you offer translation services here?
It would depend on the language. I might be able to assist, but it's not a specific service.
Yeah, I understand. You wouldn't have anyone who would be able to translate dwarvish runes written by giants?
It would be the Jotun tongue.
Yes,
Easily enough to translate. Not myself, but I could have a specialist come by for a cost this afternoon.
sure. May I inquire what the cost would be?
It would be for him to determine.
All right. Yes. If you could arrange that, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much, Master.
Let's find your tomes on the marshlands first.
Okay. I think you got it covered, Siegfried.
Sure.
I'm gonna ask around.
You feel
Alright.
him
I'll look it on.
sort of push you down into a chair, Siegfried. Wait
Mhm.
here! Goes over and climbs the very thin, rickety ladder, about like 12 feet up. And pulls down a tome about the size of his torso. And then very slowly and precariously descends. You feel legitimately concerned he's about to tumble to his very timely death based on his age, several times during the descent of this ladder, before he slaps this tome down in front of you. This is a collection of fairy tales, in and around the Harmskirk Taltha that have been collected over time. It's an anthology. I have one other tome which might be of interest. You may peruse this in the meantime.
Sure.
As he sets off and goes and starts searching for the next one.
Siegfried does a quick prayer to the kami that he doesn't die while he's getting the other book. But yeah, I would take a look in this one.
Make an investigation check.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna enhance ability myself again.
Sure.
Fox is cunning.
Yes. Okay. Flipping through, a small section. Despite the length and breadth of this tome, only a few dozen pages have anything to do with the Witchlight Marshlands based on your perusal of your. You find in a strange spot, like about a third of the way into the tome, a table of contents. It seems like this was started, and then whoever had started writing this realized they should probably dedicate a section to a table of contents based on how much varying things that accounts they were getting and adding into this tome. So it was created partially as an afterthought. But you are able to find that, and then through that eventually find your way to the area on the Witchlights. The fairy tales concerning the Witchlights are mostly set up as tales of caution, or some type of fable that is meant to teach a lesson. It is caution about wandering in as practical jokes, children teasing each other, and one of them getting lost and viciously devoured by creatures. These are very grim fairy tales. These are not happy-go-lucky things. These would be the things meant to tell children to keep them in line, not to entertain.
Sounds like the stories of the Pinwood from our childhood.
Seems to be very much in the same vein. The Witchlight Marshlands is to Armskirk what the Pinwood is to Elderthorn. It is a region of geographical mystery, little bit of fear, and dense superstition. About midway through, the Master Glimmerpocket comes back around with a small tome. This is the other one that we have on file. Places it down next to you. At your leisure. There is ink and parchment available for purchase if you need to make notes. Tomes
please.
are not to leave the library.
I very much appreciate it, Master. How much for the ink and parchment?
It's silver a page. And ink provided. enough to fill said page with notes.
I'll buy 10 pages for now because I needed to refill
Okay.
on parchment anyways.
Mark off 10 silver.
Yep, and that's 10 pages of parchment, correct?
Yep, 10 pages of parchment.
And ink for it.
Yeah. For the purpose of this as well, you'll have advantage on recalling any information should you need it regarding the Witchlight Marshlands.
Yeah, I just assumed that Siegfried would just be taking notes while he was reading.
Yep,
So yeah,
Library's
whenever
gotta
he
make its money somehow.
yeah, and whenever he's done with this book, I would just move on to the next one.
Right. The next one is a collection. It's an encyclopedic collection of different types of plants and animals that have been observed within the reaches of the marshlands in ways that they can be reasonably studied. The most notable things that sort of... Let me pull up my notes. Alright. There is stories of insects of unusual sizes. Centipedes as large as dogs. Dragonflies as large as lions. It seems like... And this is a more scientific study, although some of these larger things that are mentioned have... Like, there are notes specifying that they've not been unable to recover a body of one of these things for further study. You do learn why the Witchlights get their name as well. There are baubles of light that appear throughout the marshlands, seemingly at random. The original scientific consensus seemed to be that these were pockets of fumes that have been caught and ignited very briefly to the point that they burned like lanterns. That is the leading consensus on what these sort of baubles of light that appear, exist for a little while, and then vanish are. It is a disconcerting experience when traveling through during the evening. Further, there is, of common knowledge, there are several peoples who call the Witchlight Marshlands their home, in a manner of fact. There, as far as race makeup goes, there's gnomes, halflings, goblins, Sahuagin, and merfolk.
Okay.
The latter two of which only inhabit the first league or so in from the coastline.
Okay.
The other three are rumored to make up the remainder of the space that the Witchlight Marshlands call their expanse. They exist individually as family units, most likely in a single dwelling, that their nearest neighbor could be leagues away from them. These are autonomous peoples. They might not interact with another group or another familial unit for years at a time. Some of them hunt and trade and come into Armskirk. Some of them believe that Armskirk is a blight upon the land. It varies greatly, and the superstition amongst them is stronger than even people within Armskirk regarding the Witchlight Marshlands. To them, it is their home is this sacred space.
And the goblins, the gnomes, and the halflings exist together, or are they like separate within the collective?
As far as you understand, they may exist together, depending on the
Okay.
familiar unit. They may not. It is
Okay.
just the three races of which anyone knows individuals might exist in these marshlands.
Okay.
Other than the aquatic races, which, despite their larger stature, are able to exist in the coastal areas due to the depth of the canals
Yep.
within the marshlands.
They're not as affected by the terrain as other creatures.
Yeah, from
Okay.
your the ecology of the marshlands sounds like, from this tome, and this is the last bit of information that you really pick up, is at one point this was a more of an estuary, and this open floodplain of mangrove trees and baobabs that slowly the root structures were filled in with silt over time and gave rise to these ever slowly growing chains of islands leading to this interconnected mesh of marshlands and swamps and
So
canals.
it's kind of like a
And-
river delta.
Yeah, and these canals can, especially towards the sea, can be incredibly deep, fathoms, maybe 60 feet deep. Some of them. So these islands islands of root balls have incredibly sheer walls, if you want to think of that, and of these canals in between. So the canal could be 30 feet wide, but quite deep.
It's kind of like a coral reef going to like the water's edge.
That has
Yeah.
sort of broached the surface. And then they're not quite as shallow or as deep further inland, but they could still be 20 feet deep, 30 feet deep. And that is part of what gives rise to so much superstition, as you can find incredibly large aquatic predators in walking along the surface, you would think might not be deeper than 2 feet. And then you have this large aquatic predator sort of lunge out and grab at you.
All right, yeah. I record as much as I can, and then I will wait for the translator.
While you're waiting for the translator for the afternoon, and it does take the entire morning doing all of these note taking. Dunnan, where are you off to?
Yes. Well, Danan would probably would just obliviously go to the apothecary's house and just pretend he doesn't know anything. Just knock on the door and see, hello? Anybody here?
Right. As
Do I get
you
looks?
head over to it is the Herbal Haven shop. There's the sense of quiet and stillness that hangs in the air after you knock. It's closed and abandoned. A few of the windows seem to have been sort of broken, maybe by small rocks by neighborhood boys or something like that. But the curtains behind these windows are drawn, and clearly covered in dust here and there. The faded lettering above the entrance reveals the name, the Herbal Haven, and the colors have rapidly faded. Make me a perception check. 12. About 30 minutes goes by as you knock, you're trying to act sort of nonchalant. You make a loop of the building. And near the back, one of the windows that has sort of been cracked slightly, whatever rock was thrown by some kid has shifted the curtain ever so slightly. And you can sort of peer through the window, and you can catch a glimpse of the interior. You see shelves that were probably brimming with different reagents and ingredients at some point have been mostly picked clean, although there is still remnants, empty jars on their side here and there. A dust-covered countertop with a few remnants of dried herbs and scattered scraps of parchment. You don't see any sign of movement within this space.
Is there any back entrance, or is it just the front door?
There is a back entrance as well.
Okay.
There's a small sort of penned area, such that looks like maybe chickens might have been kept at one point, although that is now barren. small coop.
Mm-hmm.
It could have also been ducks. You're not quite sure.
Or is that?
Yeah,
Am I like out in the open, or am I not visible in the
you're not
backyard?
visible from the direct street. Like this is an alleyway behind some of the buildings here, so it's not like you are completely blocked from all lines of sight. But there's less people moving about here.
Then I would go up to the back door and try the back door, and maybe use if a door doesn't open right away, you just use your shoulder a little bit.
Sure.
Just throw himself against it.
Make me an athletics check with disadvantage, since you're trying to also be surreptitious about this.
Yeah.
Pretty good. It's definitely like a wedge from this door into the frame for a moment. You lean, it doesn't go anywhere. You jostle it a little bit. There's a little bit of a clattering of noise. You take a quick glance around. You don't think anyone saw you. You give it one more good shove, and the door falls inwards. And you almost tumble in slightly. The door opens inwards on the hinges. You quickly get up and sort of shut the door again, hoping no one sort of saw the door open and close and the dwarf disappear through it.
Yeah. Do I get the picture now of what I've seen outside? Like everything has been thrown on the floor, disarray.
Make me an investigation check, yeah. As you sort of poke through the space, it has been ransacked. This place is heavily torn through.
What
there
I
are
specifically
cracked pieces of glass upon the ground. It looks like everything here was cleaned out in a hurry.
What I specifically look for, or what's done and specifically look for, because herbalists usually have like a dry room that is in a cellar. So he would look on the floor for some, I don't know, carpet that is covering a, what do you call a hinge? No, what do you call a trapdoor?
Trapdoor.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you sort of, you're just wandering about for a moment. Eventually, nothing has been shown. Like you've not found anything. Just sort of smack one of these jars on the table in frustration. It falls to the ground, shatters, makes a noise that you were not hoping. That you were hoping it to not make. And then your ears catch the ground where it landed sounds hollow, and you run over. Tucked halfway underneath one of these sort of bookcase shelving units, the bottom shelf of which is not present. It looks like it's been removed at some point, such that you wouldn't think that the floor underneath it would be a trapdoor, and it's why it obscured was hidden from your sort of initial search. But because of the cutaway lowest ledge of this bookshelf, it allows the hinge to open the trapdoor all the way, and actually hooks to one of the hooks on the bookshelf itself. As you lift this up and find a very steep set of steep ladder sort of descending down into the darkness.
Should I go alone, or should I wait for Siegfried? What time is it now? Like before lunch, right?
Yeah, you probably got a good hour until noon. You know Siegfried's gonna be based on his conversation. He's gonna be there until at least noon, and then waiting on this translator.
He is busy. A little adventure for done in here. And is it pitch dark down there, or are there?
No, it's pitch dark. You do have dark vision, which somewhat helps, although that's not like a see in the dark type of magic. It's just
I would just go down and probably listen for a second on the in the basement then.
Okay.
And if I don't hear anything, then I would light a torch.
Alright. Yeah. As you descend, you get a good listen, hear no sounds. And you light a torch. You do descend about 15 feet until you get to the lowest level here, and your feet are on solid wood again. And glance around. Looks like you have entered some type of root cellar and drying area.
Yeah.
There is a threadbare selection of still dried herbs and plants here. It is not terribly well stocked at this point. It seems like this space itself has also been somewhat picked clean. Along the far side of this room is as the torch finally, as you light it, and it illuminates the space properly. There is a long bench. Looks like a workbench of some point, with a very large mortar and poultice, meant for grinding up the dried herbs. And it looks like this is partially a workshop as well.
Okay, is there any place where I can put the torch, because I don't want to wander around some dried herbs and possibly ignite anything of them? Like a holder for a torch?
There is a small brazier set on a three-legged stand off to one side. Probably used also by
the torch.
the late owner for the purpose of illuminating her workspace.
Okay, I would place the torch inside the brazier.
Yeah. The brazier currently has no fuel in it.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to light, but you lean the head of the torch into the brazier such that it provides some degree of light. It's not enough to really fill the entire space, but at least it's something
it gives more light than nothing,
that you can safely lean the head of the torch into something.
And Donovan would probably look around for notes, any hidden, I don't know, books, or maybe secret doors, I don't know, buttons, levers. Just pick it clean, the whole place, yeah.
Roll me a d10, please.
Is there a corpse around, or no?
There's no
Didn't
corpse.
mention any corpse.
As you start working on this space, sort of trying to figure out what's going on here. A few different herbs smell strange to you, but it's not really your bailiwick in the first place. You do not find any secret doors or buttons or anything of the sort. Underneath the workbench, you do find a pretty large chest that has a lock upon it. I don't believe you carry thieves' tools, do you?
No.
Okay. So there's a large locked chest here. It's about 3.5 feet wide and 2 feet deep and 2 feet tall. It's pretty big, especially for a halfling woman. To be the owner of, as it seems like it'd be fairly difficult for her to transport, especially down a 15-foot ladder into this space. And that's really what gives you the sort of the pause, is the difficulty of transporting this thing down into this space.
And can I lift it? Is it heavy?
It is quite heavy.
Does it feel like it? Okay. Yeah. It is?
Yeah, you're able to shift it slightly. But this thing could probably weigh 80 pounds. It is heavy wood and banded iron holding this together. This is sturdy construction.
Is there a lock?
There is a lock. It is a padlock.
Can I look around for a key? Maybe it has a key somewhere around.
Make an investigation check.
Oh, boy. No.
No, you did not find a key anywhere.
Crap, I can't carry around a big chest. I would stick out like a sore thumb. Can I try to... It's gonna be probably too loud. Ah, crap. There are no notes or anything that hints
think
why the
How
owner has
you
gone.
have the chimes of opening? We got those a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Dunnan
Yeah,
was
but
the
I don't carry them. I don't know.
The Aeolus currently has them.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah.
make about it. I remember Dunnan used them once, a long time ago, but can't remember exactly.
Channels opening
Uh,
up. And I can't hide the chest anywhere, probably, I think. Maybe I should come back in the evening and try to get it out. Okay. Danan would... Is he confident that he picked it clean for as much as he can tell?
You're pretty good. You spent about an hour down here at this point.
Okay. Okay. Now then he would become just probably put the chest back and extinguish the flame of the torch and head back up and just close the lid of the hinge again
Okay.
of the trapdoor.
So you extinguish the torch, climb back up the ladder. As your eyes are sort of readjusting from the brightness of the torch to the absolute darkness of this underground room, climbing back up the ladder. You reach the top of the ladder and your head sort of pokes over the edge, and you're looking at the tip of a sword pointed at your face. As you blink bleary-eyed in the semi-darkness of the apothecary shop properly, you see a halfling with whom you've interacted the night before. Liam.
Oh,
This is pretty interesting, friend. But you didn't know what happened to her.
I
Come back
didn't.
to you,
I
Siegfried.
came here.
Siegfried, your translator arrives. It is a dragonborn. Hello. And to understand, you needed some assistance translating some Murin runes.
Yes. Hello. My name is Siegfried. Well met. I lay out the etchings I took. I speak Jotun, but I am not familiar very much with the written language. I took these etchings in a place that was referred. It was a temple to a goddess of death, and I was just interested in what this might say.
It's pretty disconcerting. Let's take a look. To be clear, I'm happy to translate things for you. It is a price of 15 silver for each hour's worth of work, with a minimum payment of 1 hour.
All right, I give him 15 silver.
Thank you.
Can I at least pay for the first hour?
Of course. She tucks that away into a pocket. All right, let's see. Do you have parchment for me to translate onto?
Yes, yeah. I hand him a piece of parchment.
Okay. And as he sort of works and goes through, the lexicology of the language of giants is such that the runes that are used for it are that of the Dervish script. There is arguments based on whose runes they technically are and whose language was first, and who is using whose runes, as this Dragonborn individual explains to you. But he introduces himself as let me grab the name. Tiberius Johander.
And what color dragonborn is he?
He's blue.
Blue. Okay. And he seems kind of elderly, like the gnome.
Yeah. There's the name. Tiberius Johander. As he works and he's sort of explaining this lexicology to you. These are the rubbings that you got from the various statues and whatnot around the Temple of the Raven Queen.
Yeah, I this one I believe specifically was from the room where me, Dunnan, and Helly fought the mummies.
Okay.
I believe that, if I recall correctly, that's where I took these items.
So, this seems to be an account of accolades and accomplishments during the life of an individual. Fought off dozens of would-be assailants. It's a grandiose tale. You said this was in something to do with a goddess of death?
Yes, we
Common.
found this temple. It was a goddess I wasn't familiar with, but there were a lot of raven motifs, and this temple appeared to be at one point part of a society of Goliaths, and I took these etchings in a tomb area. There were mummies entombed in sarcophagi. Now she came and attacked us. But the interesting thing is that at some point the Society of Goliaths seemed to have come into conflict with the goddess. There were many effigies and statues of the goddess, paintings, carvings, and her face had been broken and destroyed in every single one of them. Yet her power was still very
to be fair, young man, what you're describing is not heard of here in Armskirk or many Tautha around. That's a nasty business. I'll be getting tangled up with them. People learned in the past, you don't mess with gods. One way or another, it always bites you. So why the sort of gestures out towards the door? You don't see it now. The gods don't mean us any good, regardless of who it is. But, if I'm accurate in my understanding of these, and I feel confident that, at the very least, my roach translation is, these sound to be the recordings of an individual's life, whom you had taken these from. Most likely some type of, like, well wishes for the beyond, would be my guess. It's not a funeral custom that is done now, but it's not unheard of. It's like if you gathered for a week and you told stories to all of your friends of the departed, and as a way to remember them. Although these were clearly put down in stone as opposed to shared orally.
Understood.
It's not a funeral custom I've seen myself, personally, but it's not unheard of.
Is there any mention of a name or a clan name in these inscriptions?
It's not a giant kin. From my understanding, most of their people are fairly individualistic. Joining together for the creation and rearing of young for a number of years, and then going their own separate ways once again. It's not a name. It's curious, now that you mention it. These were all of the rubbings, yes.
Much as I could get, we weren't exactly safe when I took these rubbings, so I did the best I could.
Yeah. Any domain of purports to be that of a god is not to be safe. Nasty business.
Yes, the place stank of death.
I believe it. Yes, I think this is... Do you have anything else that you require me to translate?
I'm just gonna double check my inventory in case I forgot anything, but I think that is... I have... Yeah, the 4 parchments, rubbings in Dwarvish. Yeah, that's all I have for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I recommend, anytime you're dealing with any type of thing that claims divinity, always be on the lookout. This is a goddess of death. Ugh. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's a matter of perspective, right?
Agreed, and we've had a little trouble with cultists where I'm from recently, so it is of concern.
Cultists gather around something that they can give prayer to. Right?
Exactly.
Goddess is only as good as the people who decide to give prayer to it.
But the thing is, I always thought, if you're a god or a goddess or call yourself that, why do you need the prayer of mortals? It seems illogical.
That's how you draw power, no? Isn't that the idea?
But yeah, you would think if you're...
It's why they shouldn't get their prayers in the first place, because...
Exactly.
Whoever's going to give you prayers, you're going to do stuff for them, right?
You would think if you're that powerful, you wouldn't need other people to give you power, but
unless that is the source of said power. It's a chicken and the egg problem.
Yes, exactly.
But
speaking of cultists, there haven't been any rumblings of cult activity in Armskirk, have there?
Yeah, more than normal. Every few months we get a random heretic who thinks the world is ending. That's normal for a big city.
On one of those parchments, I draw out the symbol of Evilcast. You haven't seen the symbol anywhere recently, have you?
Purses his lips for a moment. Not myself. I feel like my son might have been working on something with this. You should check with him.
Hang on, dude. Okay.
He is part of the Iron Fang over. I think he was doing some type of investigation with this. He was talking about some circular thingy.
Okay, yeah, I would very much like to speak to him. If you can maybe give me a letter of introduction. You know, all those Iron Fang people aren't outsiders.
Yeah, just go ask for him.
Sure, yep, I will do that. Lastly, we heard that the local apothecary has gone missing recently. Were you friends with them?
You haven't been here in a while? She's been missing for almost a year now.
Almost a year. Oh,
and
shit.
We were told that news traveled to us. Gosh, I don't know, sometime over the winter? No, it was towards the end of winter. Pardon me.
When he finds out that she's been missing for a year, he realizes Dunnan's probably ordered into something. He's like, thank you, Master.
She left. Gosh, this might have been last autumn. She had a job down in Elderthorn, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Then we got word in the early spring, I want to say, from some travelers that came through, that she had been killed down that way.
some type of nasty business, not sure what. But she was supposed to be down there to help with, I want to say a pregnancy. She was sort of mum. She packed up pretty quick. I think the money was really good.
I'm sorry, Master Tiberius. I've lost track of time. I have a very pressing appointment. How much do I owe you now for the translation?
Another 15, and we're good.
All right, here's 20. Just a tip for good service and information. I gotta go. My friend's in trouble. And I immediately pack up and start running towards wherever I think Dunnan is.
Okay. Dunnan, we'll come back to you.
All right.
As dialing back a little bit in time, as you come up the ladder, you are met with the tip of a spear, tip of the sword of the halfling Liam.
Liam.
Friend, you said you didn't know what was going on with her.
I don't. I still don't.
Then why are you breaking in to my sister's shop?
Your sister? Now it makes sense. Well, as I told you yesterday, I might poke around, and that's what exactly what I'm doing. I was poking around. You can freely go down into the cellar. I found a chest that is still unopened. I will wait here. You can check for yourself, or I can go up front, in front of you. I mean no harm.
The sword presses closer. You can feel the whiskers of your beard parting as the tip invades underneath your chin. The cold steel.
I would think twice. I'm very capable. I will defend myself if you start anything. I'm only telling the truth.
You're on a ladder above a hole that I can trap you in. You're not in a great position right now, friend.
Well, you'll forget I'm not alone. And with that, I whistle for my dog.
Make me a performance check. Okay. Check Find Steed. What's the range that you can communicate with?
1 mile.
1 mile. Okay. All right then. We're gonna play it like this. Get in the hole.
I'm not moving.
Go back down the ladder.
Try me.
Now, friend.
No, I will not.
What did you do to my sister?
It wasn't me. Trust me, this place has been picked apart long before I've been here. Look around yourself. She's been gone very long. There is dust everywhere. Even the wood outside has been, what's the word?
Faded.
Faded. Right?
Make me a persuasion check. So where is she?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't know. I came here looking for her. I didn't even know until now that she was your sister.
You hear some scratching at the front door.
But I can
of the
help you
apothecary.
if you want. I'll help you find her.
Scratching at the door. You gather your puppies out front.
Yeah. I'll send a mental message to the pup to get around and then the back and jump through the window where the stone has been thrown through. Okay, let's just calm down. Look around. Trust your instinct. She's been gone way longer than just a day. And I raise my hands up. Like, okay?
So you are now balancing on the ladder with just your feet, correct?
Yes.
A tense moment passes, and then you hear the crashing of glass, followed by the yelping, as the bloody pup is now Winnie the Pooh'd in the window.
Mhm. And I used that moment of distraction to rush up and, I don't know, just grapple him.
Make an acrobatics check. You are off balance on a ladder in the way that ascending pushes the blade into your neck.
Yes, and the fucking dice is screwing me over.
No. A 5. Okay. You make the lunge for a moment and immediately feel him reorient the blade to prevent you from scrambling higher up the ladder. You hear the bloody mad pup sort of making this cacophonous barking sound as it is now stuck its hindquarters in the window. Or the porthole of the window. The glass is gone. The glass is destroyed. Is that yours? Sort of gestures with his head towards
my
the back
useless dog, apparently.
Oh. Gonna make a whole lot of ruckus. And
Is a
alert
bloody
everyone in
good
town
tracker.
that there's been a break in here.
That's the one in the shop as well.
I'm in my sister's shop.
Yeah, but not your property. Your sister's property. So that makes you
Some people
also
in town.
trespassing.
Some people in town are claiming she's dead. Makes it mine.
Says who? And you didn't come here and investigate by yourself?
More curious to see what sort of stones get turned over. Especially by people passing through. Now, you know something about her. You can...
Everything I knew was from you. Just that it has closed down and no reason for why.
Siegfried, about this point, you hear, as you're rushing through the town, you hear the barking of a dog somewhere off, some random dog.
I make a beeline for it.
Eventually you find the hindquarters of a dog stuck into the back of the Herbal shop.
I just pet him. All this, all right, pup, we'll get you out. And then I try the back door. I'm assuming stealth is out the window now that the pup is wedged.
Make me an athletics check.
Sure. And I'll wheel myself as well. Well, yeah.
Oh.
Because today is still a wheel day. I've used it once, so this is the second time.
This is the third time, I believe.
Oh, third time. Okay, so last time. So that is a 20.
20. There you go. Few solid thuds up as Dunnan. Liam still has you as sword point. That'd be town guard. Pretty
I
quick.
just shrug. Maybe. Maybe not.
You want to drop your weapon down the hole? And then you can try to explain this peaceably?
I just stare at him and wait for what's coming into the house. I will explain myself.
Make an acrobatics check, as he is going to shove you to push you off balance.
Of course.
Oh my. Roll me a d6, please, Dunnan. You take 2 points of falling damage as you tumble down back into the root cellar. And the trapdoor is quickly thrown over, and you have something heavy shifting above you.
Mm.
Siegfried, about 3 good shoulder checks into the door, and you are able to barrel through it. It swings open, crashes into the wall, and you rush into the common space. You turn, and turning to you after sort of shifting a large bookcase is a halfling individual. Sword is pointed towards you as you rush into the room.
Can I shout?
You were in the tavern last night.
Yes, and I think my partner is down in that pit.
You don't know about a pit.
Oh, I mean, he was covering something, right?
Siegfried! Siegfried! Is that you?
Do I hear him?
Yeah.
Yep. Listen, I think this is a misunderstanding. I was the one who told Dunnan to investigate with this. In Elderthorn, we had an incident with our apothecary. I didn't realize that apothecary is the same person who owned this place. We're part of the Blackburn Watch. That's why we're investigating. You obviously care about this individual. Then you should know I was the last one to see her alive. I held her when she died. I can give you the circumstances of her death, but you'll have to work with us. Otherwise, I will tell you nothing.
Make a persuasion check. Pretty good. It's gonna roll an insight. Nice. Okay. Start talking.
First, what is your relationship to this person? To Dr. T Dance?
See him scowl. Eyes somewhat glassy. She's my sister.
Then I draw out the symbol of Evil Quest. Have you seen this symbol before? Anywhere before?
No.
Can I insight him?
Sure, go for it. Seems to be telling the truth.
Alright. The people who use this symbol for their cult are our enemies. They had managed to infiltrate Elderthorn and were carrying out some kind of dark ritual. Your Dr. T-Dance was involved somehow. However, we weren't able to get any information from her. There was an incident one night. One of our local, a very well-loved local person was murdered. And then it turned out that there was a cult in our town that was using the wife of the murdered person for a ritual by sacrificing their child. Dr. T-Dance was somehow involved in it, but before the end, she pointed us in the direction of the people carrying out the ritual. Without her help, we wouldn't have been able to get there in time and stop them, but there was nothing I could do to help her. Whatever was done to her was beyond my healing magic. I held her, I did everything I could, but her corpse decomposed right in my hands. And then in an instant she was dust. I didn't know her very well. I was only in the watch for about a year. If I had known, I would have tried to speak to her, but that's all I know. When we found out that one of the reasons we came to Armskirk is that we found a Knoll tribe in Knoll clan in the Drukon Expanse. That same cult had slaughtered this tribe and carried out a ritual. We tracked them to Armskirk, hoping to find out more information. When we got here, you told my comrade that the apothecary has gone missing, which raised a red flag for us because the same thing happened in our town, and we had recently seen activities of this cult. So that's why he came to investigate this place. I did not realize that this house was the same house as Mayor T-Dance's. I honestly didn't know too much about her.
Dr. T-Dance, not Mayor T-Dance.
Yeah, sorry. Mayor Tadell, Dr. T-Dance, sorry. Dr. T-Dance. I didn't know this was her home. I didn't even know Dr. T-Dance was from Armskirk.
Yeah, you did.
I don't believe we're enemies.
You did know that.
Okay, yeah. I don't believe we're enemies. I think we're looking for the same thing. And I think we can help each other.
Make me
Hello? Can I get out?
sit back, have a beer, chill.
You're fun, you won. Get me out.
Make a persuasion check, Siegfried. Two pretty good persuasion checks. And say you're part of the Blackburn Watch. Elderthorn. You muted, Siegfried.
Yeah. Sorry. I opened I open up my cloak a little bit. You see my breastplate has been clearly stamped with the Watch's symbol. And I also show him the Great Sphere, standard issue.
All right.
There's another member of the Watch. He's back at the inn.
I'll believe you enough to give you the carte blanche for now. Get out of my sister's home. Don't take anything out of it. I'm gonna check on your story. If you're lying to me, I will find you. And I will gut you and make you watch each other bleed out.
Well, you're gonna need to get in line. Can I at least get my friend out of there?
Sort of points with his sword towards the opposite wall. Stand by the front door. Don't move until I'm gone.
Can I at least get the dog out of the window?
Get it out when I'm gone.
Alright, Pop, a few more seconds, and I go stand out by the front door.
He carefully sort of rotates with you. Make an insight check. And then carefully backs out of the back door. You've been around, Siegfried, and you've been trained by the Watch to an extent as well, and you've seen a lot of combat at this point. The individual with whom you are currently interacting has clearly practiced footwork.
Yep.
He's not a slouch when it comes to using this short sword on his that he keeps. As he steps out, and then is still looking at you from the back door, through the portal of the back door to you standing near the front door. Takes off.
The moment he goes out of sight, I would like to cast a spell.
Certainly, what spell would you like to cast?
I would like to cast Locate Creature and start concentrating, and have it focused on him.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then I would help Dunnan out.
Make an athletics check to shift the bookcase that has been
Yeah.
placed on top of this door.
Can I help from below and just start pushing the
And
trapdoor?
also, if you, I also have this feature, in case it helps.
Noted. Okay. It takes you a good minute or so to it's one thing to knock a bunch of things on top of it. It's another thing to move things back out of the way. And it takes you a good minute or so to sort of reshift everything out of the space, such that you can then lift the trapdoor and let Dunnan out.
And then once I say done and the trapdoor is clear, and then I go and try to get the pup out of the window.
Okay, go
Great.
ahead and make another athletics check to reverse Winnie the Pooh, the pup, out of the small window that Dunnan instructed to jump
I need your help. The pup is stuck.
Oh, crap.
There's small puppy
Ah,
blood.
bad dog.
The pain
Bad
of
dog.
trying
You're
to roll it
useless.
forward or push it back.
Push
to
it
probably-
back.
yeah.
Also.
Okay. So you're pushing on the front, Dunnan, you rush back out around the back to try to yank on its hindquarters. Both of you give me athletics. There we go.
It probably sounds like a cork coming out. Just boom.
Plop.
And then
a good 30 seconds worth of yanking and shifting and the pup squirming back and forth until eventually there's this, whatever was caught on it finally gives. It seems like part of the harness that the pup wears was caught on the window frame itself. Finally gives, and the pup flies backwards. Dunnan, make me a dexterity saving throw.
I know it. Dexterity saving throw?
Dex save, yeah. Alright. The pup lands squarely on your chest, Dunnan. Sitting, and then sort of turns around, paws on your face, and just licking you all over the plate.
By more than sports, I have to get you on diet.
do I have any sort of bearing on where the halfling guy may have ran to? Do I still pick him up at all?
Let me see. Direction movement.
And it's within 1,000, as long as the creature is within 1,000 feet of me. But if he's gone that far, I won't notice anything. I don't think. 1,000 feet, yeah.
As
Is
you
a
are
little under
focusing,
a mile?
so you get the direction. They are traveling south, and then they are vanishing. They vanish from your.
Okay. So once he vanishes, I'll try to keep a mental note that he goes south, and then once he vanishes, I'm gonna drop concentration on locate creature, and I'm gonna pass without a trace. I'm like, Dunner, we have to get the fuck out of here. And then I'm gonna stealthily try and get away.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Both you roll me stealth checks. 19.
Where's stealth?
And 26. Pretty good
No,
for
I
disadvantage stealth in the first place.
Yeah.
Um,
And we gotta get back to Aeolus right now. I think we're gonna be stuck in the city another day.
all right. You sneak your way back in a roundabout way to the River's Edge Tavern. And try to make a quiet evening of your time here. I think in the interest of having Aeolus or anyone else for if they want to do information in Armskirk, I think here would be a good pausing point for us until next session.
Yeah. I agree.
Which is in 2 weeks, right?
Yes,
On the
we are
31st.
skipping the 24th for Christmas Eve, and we are playing on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I should be able to make it.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh man, that was fun.
The whole
All that
conversation.
was
Let's,
put me
yeah,
over.
let's not break into the apothecary tonight. First thing in the morning,
Mm.
I'm breaking into the apothecary.
Also, I realized.
I just really wanted to.
I wa-
Let me have my fun.
just to clarify, did we know that Dr. T Dance was from Armskirk and we just all
Yes,
forgot?
yes.
Okay, alright.
You know she's from Armskirk. She was
Yeah.
contracted by Mayor Tadell to assist
Okay.
with Nara's pregnancy. She has no affiliation with the cult, to your
Yeah.
knowledge. Just that she
Alan
was.
would have never connected the dots. Never.
No, I didn't mean
He
to.
was just curious.
No, you were hung
There's
out.
something
You
wrong.
were entirely hung out to dry.
I didn't mean to say that she had affiliation. I just knew that
Yeah.
she was connected with the incident.
You did. You just
Okay.
insinuated to Liam that his sister was affiliated with a cult, and he's going
Yeah.
to check on that.
I mean, as far as I
great.
know, as far as I know, she was part of a cult.
You better
Like-
hope Storm Surge sets them correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Small intermezzo.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
You learned a little bit of information about your penultimate destination, the Witchlights. And then next session, Aeolus will and anyone else will have the chance to talk with Iron Fang, and I believe you might want to speak with them regarding the individual.
Contracts, maybe.
Yeah, the Dragonborn Tiberius Johander's son.
Yep.
Who is affiliated with the Iron Fang, and potentially about any information you might be able to find further north up in Fellhold Refuge about these happenings and these henges, which, based on what you've got so far, might be the only source of information that you might be able to find. And then maybe from there even beyond to the gosh, I'm blanking on the name of my own geography.
It was like Frosthold.
Refuge.
The Verdant
Oh.
Locks. The
Oh, the
Verdant
Verdant
Locks. Upon the Garden Steppe on the western edge of the Kamatsu Lakes, which Teng has expressed interest in visiting. And Fellhold Refuge would be the closest the group of you have ever gotten to them, so it might make sense to do that in the swoop through as well. Alrighty. Wonderful stuff. Have a good one.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah,
everyone has
you
a
too.
good Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.